BTS News Today. The October air over Seoul carried the cool edge of early autumn, the kind that turns the city's neon lights softer and makes every breath linger in the crisp evening sky. By the time the sun dipped behind the skyline of Jamsil, the grand glass facade of Lotte Cinema World Tower was already glowing with flashes of cameras and the gentle murmur of reporters arranging themselves in neat lines. A red carpet had been unfurled from the entrance, catching reflections of silver blue lights from the digital banners above, where the title First Ride shimmered like a secret invitation. Inside that moment, quiet, expectant, electric, all attention was fixed on one name whispered through the crowd long before he even arrived: Jungkook. No one said it too loudly. They didn't have to. The anticipation had its own sound. The slight tightening of camera straps, the rustle of velvet ropes being adjusted, and the unmistakable pulse of curiosity that always accompanied the youngest member of BTS wherever he went. He had been quiet lately, seen only briefly between schedules, and his sudden confirmation on the VIP guest list had sent fans and media alike into a quiet frenzy. At precisely 5:48 p.m., a sleek black Genesis G90 pulled up to the front. The tinted door opened slowly, and the crowd exhaled, the way people do when something both familiar and unpredictable suddenly becomes real again. Jungkook stepped out that he wasn't in the kind of flashy outfit one might expect for a film premiere. Instead, he wore a tailored charcoal gray suit with a subtle sheen that caught the faintest trace of the evening light. The jacket fit him perfectly, the fabric falling just right over his shoulders, paired with a black turtleneck underneath that lent an effortless sophistication to his already sharp presence. His hair, longer than in his last public appearance, brushed just past his collar and framed his face in gentle waves. The color, dark brown with hints of chestnut, softened the intensity of his gaze as he looked up, briefly, toward the cameras. For a few seconds, the world seemed to slow down. The crowd noise faded, replaced by the rapid succession of camera shutters, a rhythmic clicking like rain on glass. Jungkook bowed politely to the media, his movements precise but relaxed. The security detail behind him kept a respectful distance as he walked toward the red carpet backdrop marked with First Ride, VIP Premiere, in silver lettering. The lighting, soft but focused, fell across his profile and illuminated the subtle curve of a smile that was barely there but felt deliberate. The kind of small, knowing smile that says he's aware of the attention but refuses to be consumed by it. Inside the theater lobby, murmurs of his arrival traveled faster than any announcement could. Staff members exchanged quick glances, and even other celebrities already seated at the lounge turned their heads slightly, as if gravity itself shifted when he entered. Jungkook greeted a few familiar faces: actors, directors, and fellow musicians who had come to support First Ride, a film that had gained early buzz for its daring visuals and emotional storytelling. His interactions were brief but warm, a light handshake here, a quiet nod there, a small laugh that melted the tension around him. He had always carried an aura of discipline and calm, but tonight there was something subtly different, a grounded maturity that came not from trying to impress, but from simply being present. As he moved through the crowd, a faint scent followed him, clean, understated, and modern, something woody with a trace of amber, a fragrance that suited the man he had become, not the idol dancing under blinding lights, but the artist quietly taking in the rhythm of life off stage. Inside the private lounge, a low hum of conversation floated beneath the soft jazz playing over hidden speakers. Photographers, invited to capture the arrivals, kept their distance, aware of the event's balance between glamour and respect for privacy. Jungkook accepted a glass of sparkling water from an attendant and sat for a moment near the tall glass window overlooking Seoul's skyline. From that vantage point, the Han River glittered faintly in the distance, reflecting the city lights like a river of moving stars. He didn't take out his phone. He didn't check messages. Instead, he simply looked out at the city he'd known for more than a decade, at the life that had changed and yet somehow stayed the same. The reflection in the glass showed not the global superstar, but a young man in his late 20s, quietly existing between fame and solitude. When the call came that the screening was about to begin, Jungkook stood, adjusted his jacket, and followed the ushers into the main theater hall. Rows of plush seats, the faint scent of popcorn and cologne, and the warm hush that descends before a film starts, all combined into a rare, intimate moment. He took a seat halfway down the aisle, near several actors and the director of First Ride. The lights dimmed. The room fell silent. The first notes of the film's score filled the air. For the next 2 hours, Jungkook sat still, his expression unreadable but attentive. Occasionally, the glow from the screen painted his face in flashes, blue during a nighttime chase scene, gold during a sunset montage. At one point, during an emotional dialogue, he exhaled quietly and rested his chin on his hand, completely immersed. When the credits rolled, the room burst into applause. Jungkook clapped too, genuine and unhurried, then turned slightly to the director beside him, offering a quiet compliment that made the man smile with visible relief. After the screening, guests were invited to a small press interaction area outside the hall. Jungkook waited patiently for the initial crowd to move, greeting a few senior actors who approached him first. Cameras were discreetly lifted again. Flashes like faint lightning. A reporter, clearly nervous, asked gently if he had any thoughts about the film. Jungkook smiled, eyes curving softly. "It was beautiful," he said in Korean, voice low and calm. "It made me think about choices, how every small moment can change your whole direction. I really respect the message." It was a short answer, but somehow it lingered, the kind of statement that seemed to reflect not only the movie, but perhaps a glimpse into his own state of mind. As the event wound down, Jungkook posed briefly for the official photo wall once more. This time, his posture was looser, his smile a touch wider. He bowed again to the photographers before turning toward the exit. Outside, the night had deepened. A few fans, having waited quietly across the street, let out soft gasps as they caught sight of him leaving the building. They didn't scream. They didn't rush. They simply held up their phones, trembling a little, capturing the quiet grace of a moment that would be replayed endlessly online within minutes. Jungkook raised a hand in a small wave before getting into his car. The door closed with a gentle click. The taillights glowed red for a moment, then disappeared into the Seoul night. But that wasn't the end of it. Not for the crowd that had witnessed it. Not for the journalists typing furiously under the lobby's golden light. And not for the millions who would wake up the next morning to the photos flooding social media. Within hours, hashtags like #JungkookAtFirstRide and #JungkookVIP Premiere began trending globally. Fans marveled at his understated elegance, his effortless charisma, his unspoken maturity. Clips from the event, his brief bow, his gentle smile, the way he paused to greet the film's director, became viral snippets of what people now called Jungkook's Seoul Night. Commentators praised not only his appearance, but his aura, that rare blend of warmth and mystery that makes him seem both distant and familiar. One Korean fashion columnist wrote, "Jungkook has mastered the art of minimal presence. He doesn't need extravagance to fill a room. He simply arrives, and the world adjusts to his rhythm." HYBE released no official statement about his attendance. It was not part of any promotion, no collaboration, no performance. It was simply Jungkook showing support for art, something that resonated deeply with fans who admired his creative sincerity. As the city fell asleep, Seoul's skyline mirrored the afterglow of that night, luminous yet calm. Somewhere in the tower above the cinema, the reflection of lights flickered on the glass, just as it had when Jungkook paused to look at the view hours earlier. The next morning, newspapers and online portals featured his photos across their front pages. Jungkook BTS stuns with simple elegance at First Ride Premiere, read one headline. Another declared, a glimpse of Jungkook's quiet era, grace over glamour. Fashion analysts broke down his look. The muted gray suit, the absence of accessories save for a sleek black watch, the natural hair and minimal makeup.